This is question 11 of OCR C1 paper, January 2010, and we're given the lawn is to be made in the shape shown below. The units are in metres. We've got 2 plus x, 3x, and 2 plus 5x. And in part 1, we've got to find P, the perimeter of the field, of the lawn. Now, we need to split it off down here into a right-angled triangle first, here. And if we look at that triangle, given we know that this is 2 plus 5x, and this is 2 plus 1x, the bit here must be, the missing bit effectively up here, must be 4x. So no, that's 4x. This bit here is 3x. So using Pythagoras in the 3, 4, 5 triangle, this must be 5x. So if I label that now with a 5x there, the perimeter of my shape is the distance all the way around the outside. Well, if I start here top left, I've got an x there, another 5x is there that makes 6x, another 5x is there, that now makes 11x, and another 3x there, so that gives me 14x, and then I've got 2 there, another 2 there, that make 4. So my perimeter of this shape is 14x plus 4. The next part of the question says show the area is given by a equals 9x squared plus 6x. If it says show, you've actually got to get to this yourself. You can't just write it down or anything like that. So again, let's look at our shape. And I'm going to split it up as I did last time. The drawing looks a bit different, but it's supposed to be the same thing. A 3x there, a 2 plus x here. And I know that bit is 2 plus x. This bit here is 4x. The area of this bit here will be these two multiplied together because it's a rectangle. So that will be 3x times by 2 plus x. The area of the triangle here will be half of the base, which is 4x, times by the height, which is 3x. And if I times 4x by 3x together, I get 12x squared. Half of that is 6x. If I multiply this together here, I'll get 6x plus 3x squared. Add all of those together, I get the area. So I've got 3x squared, and I've got plus 12. Sorry, that should have been x squared there. Sorry, from earlier. So I'll scrub that line out. Do that last bit again. That 4x times by 3x was 12x squared. Half of that is 6x squared. So add these together again. I get 3x squared add 6x squared is my 9x squared that I'm after. And then the 6x is here as well. So I've shown how to get the expression that was on the exam paper for the area. The final part of question 11 says the perimeter of the lawn must be at least 39 metres and the area of the lawn must be less than 99 metres squared. Now it's important here you actually get the inequality signs correct as well. One had to be at least 39, so 39 was allowed, and the other one had to be less than 99, so 99 was not allowed. So the expression we had for the perimeter from earlier was 14x plus 4. So we know that has to be greater than or equal to 39. If you take 4 off both sides, and then divide both sides by 14, 14 goes into 35 2.5 times. So you know from there that x has to be greater than or equal to 2.5. Now from the area statement, well, we know the area is 9x squared plus 6x, and we know that has to be less than 99. Now, anytime you have a quadratic, you need to make it equal 0. So I'm going to bring the 99 across, like that. Okay. Now, if you're doing a quadratic, try and factorise where possible. But first off, because 3 goes into each of these numbers, I can divide all of them by 3, just to make it a bit more manageable. So that should be 33. And then I can try and factorise this as well. To get a 3x squared, I'm going to have a 3x and an x. And numbers that times together to get 33, the obvious combination is 11 and 3. Now if you put the 3 here and the 11 here, when you multiply out, you're going to get 9x and 11x. And you can get a 2 from that if you have a plus 11 and a minus 9. So that quadratic factorises like this. Now the roots here, if you get, well, what makes 3x plus 11 equal 0? And if you manipulate that equation, you get an answer of minus 11 over 3. And over here, what makes x equal 3, 0? You get an answer of 3. Well, because you want the quadratic to be less than 0, what we've now found is that this quadratic is less than 0, so it's this part of it down here, it's where it's below the x-axis. It's between minus 11 thirds and 3. So we know x has to be between these answers. So we can write those down. But remember, from here, I said that x had to be at least 2.5. Well, 2.5 is sort of somewhere here. So I've actually only allowed, by combining these two answers, my x must be below 3, yes, but actually I already know it's got to be greater than 2.5, so it can't be some of these. It's narrowing down my answer set. X can be between 2.5 and 3, and it can include the 2.5, so again you've got to get the inequality right on here. So the very final bit was by combining these two things, and when you looked at this one here, once you knew that x couldn't be smaller than 2.5, effectively what you were doing was you were wiping out all of the graph up to there, and we could only have this little bit left between 2.5 and 3.